Advanced Towing in Arlington, Virginia employs and is run by liars. They have lied to me, they have lied to the Arlington Police Force, they have lied to judges, and they have lied to the State Attorney General's office. In this video, I'm going to talk about what you can do, the law that many of these lies revolve around, and I'll show you proof of these lies. First of all, this is not an anti-towing video. Let me be very clear. I have great respect for small businesses and their property rights. I even respect other towing companies in Arlington that are just trying to do a difficult job that no one likes but has to be done. You should never trespass, and you should always look out for signs marking private property. If you get towed, it's likely that you did something wrong. But that doesn't mean that the tower doesn't have to follow the law. Just because you broke the law doesn't give them a free pass to break it as well. This video is about exposing Advanced Towing for their lies and refusal to simply comply with the laws that are designed to protect all parties in these commercial transactions. What can you do if you're a resident or vehicle owner, especially if you've been victimized by Advanced Towing? First of all, record everything. There's a lot of he said, she said in this industry, so it's best to have everything documented. In Virginia, there's what's called a one-party consent law, which means that it's completely legal to record your own conversations with another person, whether they're aware of it or not. You can also file a complaint with Arlington, the Attorney General's office, or the Better Business Bureau, or post a review to Yelp. The links are here and they're also posted on my website. Even if you do have video evidence and concrete proof, your individual complaint probably won't amount to much more than a refund. But no matter how small the infraction was against you, you need to speak up to make sure that our collective voice is heard and that Advanced Towing doesn't keep victimizing residents of Arlington. What I would not advise, however, is getting involved in a confrontation with a tow truck driver. While you have every right to approach the driver during a tow and pay what's called a drop fee to get your car back before it's towed, you may end up stabbed. I personally have been followed down the street by John O'Neill when I was on site for legitimate business once. At the time, I think he was only armed with a camera, but count on them making every effort to make you uncomfortable. Be the better person and don't break any laws yourself. To the Arlington County Board, I'm asking that you have John O'Neill, the owner of Advanced Towing, removed from the Trespass Towing Advisory Board. John has paid over $10,000 in 2017, lobbying the state government to cripple the advice of the TTAB by removing about 2/3 of its members, leaving only 3 tow company reps, 3 law enforcement reps, and a resident representative, which is currently me. Oh, and he's now the chairperson. Arlington residents don't deserve to have a liar like John manipulating the state law, the local law, and the Trespass Towing Advisory Board. In 2017, the border where tow companies could operate from was expanded, with the premise being that Arlington should allow more tow operators into the market. I believe the Arlington County Board has the power to remove John O'Neill and replace him with one of those smaller players who can better represent the majority of the tow businesses in this market rather than its sole monopoly holder. The state law says that the county board has to get advice from this biased advisory board, but it doesn't say that one of the members of that board has to be the guy who uses legal and illegal tactics to manipulate the law and victimize Arlington residents. Let's remove John from the local county advisory board and let him continue his lobbying and manipulation efforts at the state level. He shouldn't be able to do both. For the Attorney General's office, I believe that many of the lies you're going to hear from Advanced Towing are legal. But I think proof of perjury and evidence that they have lied in an ongoing AG investigation warrants a real investigation into this company. I'll show the evidence that I was not provided a copy of the photograph, despite Advanced Towing telling multiple judges that they did provide that copy. I'll also show John O'Neill's letter to the Attorney General's office stating that a resident, quote, admitted to leaving the lot, and then video where that resident repeatedly and emphatically denies doing that, and in fact presents evidence to the contrary. Here's another thing the Attorney General's office can do. Enforce the law that went into effect in April of last year, which applies a small civil fine for each law infraction. Thanks to public data that shows all the times that Arlington County has ordered a refund to a resident, we know that the Attorney General's office should already be collecting around $1,000 for the literary fund from Advanced Towing for these documented infractions. But I believe the Attorney General's office should go further than that. I think they have an obligation to audit all of the photographic records that Advanced Towing has kept for the past year as they are legally required. I believe every photographic violation found during that audit constitutes an instance of deceit, and you'll see examples of that in the upcoming stories. This is not about sloppy record keeping or some legal technicality. It's about the fact that during a tow there are usually 2 witnesses, the driver and the photographs. We already know that not all drivers are the most reliable witnesses. Ask the drunk advanced towing driver who was arrested for stealing from people's cars, or the FBI agent who had to intervene when an advanced towing driver stabbed a resident. So the only thing a resident has to rely on is the other virtual witness, the photographs. Every deceitful violation of the local law that advanced towing commits is a means to rob residents of their right to another witness during this transaction that can and has cost them thousands of dollars per infraction. Here are the relevant excerpts from Arlington County Code 14.3 regulating trespass towing. I encourage you to read it in full at the link below and perhaps even break out a dictionary for some of the complex words in here that advanced towing used to lie to the judge, like the word copying. I don't know how the law could be made any more clear, but here's a breakdown of the spirit of the law, clearly designed to protect consumers in the event that they are illegally towed or their vehicle is damaged. A tow company has a legal obligation to take 4 pictures of your car prior to touching it, and they need to provide photographic or video proof substantiating the reason for the tow. In other words, a clear picture of a resident, say, leaving a lot. They also have to keep those pictures for a year, and they have to allow a resident or his or her representative to take a copy of those pictures and the contract that authorized the tow in the first place. When my car was damaged during a tow, I had evidence that it was done by the tow truck driver and that the photo the driver took of the damage was taken after he had moved the car. So it was very important for me to get a copy of those photos. Instead, this is what I got when I complained to the Arlington police. Notice that the 2 pictures on the right are incomplete and clearly do not meet the definition of copy. This is my estimation of what happened. Advanced Towing opened the original version of the photo on their computer screen and used a camera phone to take a shot of a small area of the photo, attempting to obscure the fact that the car is not in the same position as it was in the first picture. Would you call this a copy of the Mona Lisa? No, because the dictionary defines copy as a reproduction of the original, and this is clearly not a reproduction. So I went back to Advanced Towing to exercise my legal right to get an actual copy of my photograph. I've sped it up, but try and count how many times that I'm lied to and stonewalled in my failed attempt to get a copy of this photo. Cool. Can I come in and take a look? It says I can take a copy, so I can't. I actually have the Arlington statute right here. I'm sorry? I can come in there and just take a picture of my phone. There's another picture with the damage to the car?
I gave you your picture.
Are you saying you can leave that picture? Because the law says you have to keep it for a year.
I do, here it is.
So you don't have any pictures of
That's
damage?
the only picture that I have here.
Are you saying you don't?
I'm saying that's the only picture that I have here.
Do you have a picture of the damage?
I don't have anything else here except that picture.
Do you have a picture of the damage?
That's the only picture that I have here.
Maybe not answering my question.
That's the picture that I have here. If there's anything else related to your vehicle, it's not here. I'm not able to pull it off this computer. I'm required to keep a picture for a year, and there it is.
And that's the only picture
That's
you
the only
have?
picture that I have here, correct.
Well, but if you're required to keep the records for a year,
There it is.
and that's the only picture,
That's the only picture I have here.
you're telling me you do not have a picture of the
I
damage
don't
to
have
my
it here,
vehicle?
no.
Where is it?
I don't have it here.
It goes on like that. The point is that I'm repeatedly lied to and was denied access to a copy of the picture. Shouldn't the police have been able to compel them to give me a copy? Nope. And while they were as helpful as you can be, you could see they're not even clear exactly on what can be done. Eventually, they assisted me in going through this ridiculous process of having to go to the Arlington County Magistrate and file criminal charges against them for denying me the photo. I spent an enormous amount of time in court, only to witness them lying to the judge that they had already given me a copy. In the end, the case was dismissed, but as the evidence is a matter of public record, I would encourage anyone to go and review that evidence and challenge my assertion that these photos submitted into evidence were not copies of the original. In fact, months after Arlington lost that court case and the case was dismissed, Advanced Towing screwed up, and when the Attorney General was investigating this case, they sent the actual copy of the photograph to him, which I finally received. So, on the left is the evidence that Advanced Towing submitted to the judge, and on the right is the actual copy of the photograph. I'm no lawyer, but that seems like perjury to me. Okay, let's jump forward to another story revolving around another tow. GK has asked to be kept anonymous out of fear of retribution by Advanced Towing, but here are the details. Her car was legitimately towed but extensively damaged during the tow. She has evidence that the car had just gotten out of the body shop, ironically just the day before the tow, and she wasn't aware that she could even request the photos taken at the time of the tow. She lost her court battle on a technicality because she thought she was going to small claims court, and she was unaware that she'd be going up against a lawyer who had her evidence all thrown out. I tried to help her to get a copy of the photographs as her representative, which is in full compliance with the law. You'll see the video of Advanced Towing denying me access to those photos. Here's a copy of the damage. It's hard to imagine anything but a tow truck causing this damage. As you can see, the exhaust pipe was lifted up and cracked through the car's body. And here's a timeline of how difficult it is to get any sort of justice when something like this happens. Countless hours and almost a year of effort, and GK receives a $130 refund ordered by the county. Not because of the damage, which she had to pay for, but because of our efforts to get a copy of the photograph and prove to the county that Advanced Towing was not in compliance with the law.
Good evening. How are you? I have a request for some photographs of a vehicle that was towed a little while ago.
Hold on one second. Do you have a copy of the tow receipt that shows me this belongs to this gentleman?
Well,
Because while he's giving you authorization for this, I don't know whose car this is. You've got the car owner. You've got the car owner information covered up.
right, and he's so
And this is a
That's his license
photocopy of a
plate.
notarized letter.
right.
Can you get
So-
a copy of the registration and a copy of the tow ticket without the name covered up? Then we can help you.
You need the registration.
Yeah, because we can't tell. Like we said, the name's covered up on here.
I don't know whose car this is.
Well, the name's not on the receipt.
I don't know whose car this
You don't
is.
know the name of the vehicle
There is a
owner.
name on the receipt. You've got it covered up. We do know because we released.
Sorry?
We released it to that person. Okay.
So just bring that back.
You just
Okay.
bring it back uncovered so I
Okay.
see who
And a copy of
the
the
car
registration.
belongs to, and a copy of the registration showing me that the car belongs to this person that you have a photocopy of a notarized letter from. And I'll be glad to show you the pictures.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You guys have a good one. Good afternoon. Got the paperwork you requested? Thank you.
Or actually, can I keep that? Have a good day.
Thank you, sir, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let me ask you,
Yeah,
is this the entirety of the picture?
that's the only picture. That's the full picture.
And there's no timestamp on it?
There is not. And there's no timestamps on the camera.
Okay, thank you.
Here's the paperwork I provided that first day when Advanced Towing denied me access to the pictures. As you heard, they looked for every reason they could to deny me the access, including the fact that the notarized letter was a photocopy and that the name was obscured on the receipt. But as you could see, GK's name is on the letter and the tax form, and the VIN is clearly visible in both the tax form and the receipt. Here's a copy of the photo we finally obtained. Based on this evidence, the county ordered Advanced Towing to issue her a refund because the photo didn't clearly show the condition of the car. But remember, this wasn't about the $130 towing charge. This was about Advanced Towing breaking the law that required them to show the condition of the vehicle prior to being towed. If Advanced Towing had complied with the law, GK and I are positive that it would have shown that her car sits in the spot undamaged prior to the tow. So Advanced Towing broke the law and were rewarded for it by being off the hook for any liability of damages that they caused during the tow. And I am sure that they will continue this practice until they are stopped. My third and final story is from this year, and it involves Dan and his car being illegally towed while he was inside a restaurant he was patronizing. He has the receipt from the restaurant and an employee witness to this fact. He was denied access to all the photographs taken at the time of the tow, specifically the one that substantiates the reason for the tow. And remember, that's the one that would show him supposedly leaving the lot. The county initially told him that Advanced Towing provided him with all the photos, even though that final photo was not included in the batch. So I worked with Dan to help him get them, again with the camera rolling. I was denied access and went back sometime later with Dan. Instead of simply complying with the law in response to our simple and legal request, Advanced Towing called the police and had us removed from the lot. And because Advanced Towing claimed that we were threatening them, we're no longer allowed to exercise our legal right to go and request photos like this again. Here's a quick timeline. Again, this is an excruciating process to get even the simplest things done, like getting a copy of these pictures to help make a case. Advanced Towing knows this, and they do everything they can to make it even more difficult. Here are the copies of the photos provided to Dan by the Arlington police, and the officer claiming incorrectly that not only is Advanced Towing not required to include the one showing him leaving the lot, but that he suspects that grainy picture Dan was shown wasn't even related to his case. Since Dan had already seen the picture, I knew he had a legal right to get a copy of it, so I wanted to help him. Let's start with their initial refusal to give me access to that picture.
Hi, I'm here to pick up some photographs for an associate of mine. I have the registration.
This is not your car.
Right, I'm a representative.
Okay. You have something to show me that?
I have the registration. That's what they asked me for last time.
No. That's not your car. I don't have to provide pictures of a car that's not yours.
Actually, I'll read the...
You having a copy of a registration. I know the code. You guys have gone through this many times. Okay.
But you just said you don't...
I know the code just as well as you do, Mr. Ted. Okay? When you can show me that you're his agent, not a copy of his registration, then I can provide you the picture.
Okay, so you'll be providing the pictures, including the one showing him leaving the lot?
I said, get me something, show me that you're his agent. I think he's already been provided pictures as well, but yeah, show me that you're the agent and I'll give you pictures, of course I will. Nothing, that's my sister, so that's not his, that he's involved in. I didn't think so.
So what specifically do you need?
I need to get something to show me that you're his agent. I mean, you're
Yeah, last time you told me the registration was the proof.
I don't know what I do.
Okay, so what specifically? Like a letter from him?
Maybe a notarized letter from him. Yeah.
I'll bring a letter back from him. Okay,
sir.
I'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Outrageous, right? She makes the claim that I don't have a legal right to request these pictures as his representative. She claims that she's already provided these pictures, and she denies me access to them despite having the registration with Dan's name on it and an unobscured copy of the receipt. And for what reason does she have to call someone and report me for making this legal request? So Dan and I write this letter, and we both went back a few days later to make the request again. Note that we're requesting a copy of all the photos, specifically the one that hasn't been provided yet, and a copy of the contract that authorized them to make the tow in the first place.
Good afternoon. I got the letter you had requested for the agent.
Okay.
Do you need a copy of the ticket?
No, I don't.
Okay. So now she's calling someone instead of just getting the ticket.
Yeah, she did the same thing to me. She made like several phone calls, and the thing is though, is like I could tell. One of my professors, who's a mentor of mine, is like, most people get an education, get a job, and then retire. And then, okay.
Printed would be great, thank you. And the video.
What video?
They told you that you had a video.
I said I had a video of me walking.
Blocking this window off. He's not putting one more video of me up on the internet.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you with the window
I'm
closed.
not talking to you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Here's the thing, like, they're doing this to like piss me off.
Yeah.
But it's actually not pissing me off. It's not making me happy.
It's strengthening your resolve.
It's strengthening my resolve. No, because you're proving my point.
Yeah.
Doing this proves my point that there's something wrong with this system.
Yeah.
If you're by law supposed to provide pictures, then
I'm in the middle of printing here. I'm really not trying to upset you. I'm printing.
you hear? I can't hear.
She said she's in the middle of printing and she's not trying to upset us.
Oh, yeah, trying to get the microphone too. Okay.
I mean, 18 minutes to print a photo. Yeah, so you said they told you about the video on a subsequent call, right?
Yeah.
Like when you called in later. And you figured
But
that was
I imagine that's a standard statement they say. It's like, oh, we've got video, awesome. And I was like, that was my first words, like, awesome, I'll come down, show me the video, we'll all clear this up. And then when I come down, nothing was produced. I was like, cool, let's clear this up. I get it, it was a mistake. I just want my car back. I don't want to pay that fee. And I was going to walk off and not pay the fee. I was like, no, because then it's going to be recurring fees and just, you know.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Do me a favor. Can you just come down here and talk to me over here on the other side of the property?
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, let's go over my car, the gold one. Alright, so no weapons on anybody or anything like that today, sir? Okay. Right. So it's my understanding you guys had some protracted court case?
No, sir.
You and them on the property?
No, sir.
Okay, so what brings you to the property today?
I am coming to the property today to obtain the photos that has the evidence for my tow that was last couple of months ago.
Okay.
So, just county code, they're supposed to keep the records for a full year.
Okay.
They've been refusing to give me the photos.
Okay.
And I'm just here to get my photos. So.
Okay, so we're not here for any of that, okay? That would be a civil issue that you would handle in court.
Actually, this is the Arlington code.
Okay.
If you wanted to read.
We know
I'm
what
sorry.
the code
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
We know what the code is, okay? And if this was a dispute in court, whose car was it? Yours or yours? Okay, and who are you?
I'm his agent.
And friend.
Okay.
The owner's authorized representative.
Hold on 1 second, okay? Here's the thing. They asked you to leave the property because you're on the property. Okay, well, even if that didn't happen, they want you off the property. They don't want you ever to come back, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to issue a banning to each of you that's good for 3 years. So if you have any grievance for them, you can do it by telephone. You can do it any other way, but you cannot come back to this property, okay? So we have no issue. We're going to go on our way. You're going to go on yours, but I'm going to need both of your IDs so I can fill this banning out so I can send everybody on their way. They don't want either of you on the property, okay?
Understood.
All right, so I have no intentions of messing with you guys or slowing that down. If you guys want to pursue that, absolutely. I used to work in the court system myself. There's a host of resources you both have available at your disposal, but that can't happen today on this property, okay?
Muy claro, entiendo.
I wish you the best of luck with him. I wish you the best of luck with that organization. But
You know what? I understand, sir. I
really appreciate that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out 2 quick pieces of paper after I get your driver's license.
My front right pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And then I'm going to send you both on your way. And anything that you need to handle with them, you can do fax, telephone, scan, email, whatever you want to do. Just please don't come back here, okay? Can I see your ID as well so I can...
I'm going to copy that because I'll have to, I'm in the Navy.
Okay.
And I'll have to give this to my security manager anytime I have anything.
So here's the thing. I'm not filling out a police report. No one's charged with any crime.
Okay.
Okay? So that way you can do that with work. You're active duty with us. That's great.
I'm an ISA.
This is just insane. Let's say you're a small business owner faced with an annoying but legal request for documentation that you are legally required to provide to 2 law-abiding citizens. Do you simply comply with the law and send us on our way? Or do you do what John O'Neill did and call the cops, lie to them, and claim that he asked us to leave? John knows what he's doing. That little lie effectively has prevented me from helping any other resident who may be too intimidated to go on site themselves and request access for their own photos. Again, he doesn't feel like he should follow the law and continues his efforts on the T-tab to change them in his favor. Specifically, he pushed through a recommendation last November to change the law requiring that businesses keep a copy of the tow contract on site for residents to be able to request it there. But as you can see here, despite our request, when the police brought out the photos, there was no contract in sight. Oh, and that picture on the left? That blob is supposedly Dan leaving the lot. But why call the cops? Surely it's not because we were civilly standing out there waiting for the photos, right? Maybe it's because we were recording the transaction? But that doesn't make a lot of sense because there are at least 2 security cameras on site recording us. Or maybe because he knows that I'd use this video to expose this outrageous behavior. Nope, I don't think that's it either.
I'm in the news, sweetheart.
That's fine.
I will update to this place.
Okay, that's fine, and I'll play your video, so careful. I'll play the video.
We all remember this case, right? I'll let Gina's words speak for me on this one. Here's her actual quote posted online.
Well, let's get you out of here quickly.
Yep, that's all you care about is just taking people's money
Yeah.
with no education,
Yeah.
no skill set. Just want to clarify that. Do you feel good about your job? So I could be a college dropout and do the same thing? When I have to have a brain and you don't?
Looks like that.
Maybe if I was missing some teeth, they would hire me, huh?
Yeah, maybe if you had to touch your roots up a little bit.
Oh, like yours? But they look so stunning. Because I'm on television and you're in
I
a
know.
fucking trailer, honey.
Have a nice-
Lose some weight, baby
Yeah.
girl.
Look, while I understand Britt's frustration, I don't condone that kind of behavior, and I think that was just mean. John went on to claim that the business was booming thanks to that video, but hey, good for them. After our encounter, Dan got responses back from the Attorney General's Office of Consumer Protection, and again we were outraged. The gall that John O'Neill would lie to the Attorney General's office during the investigation was shocking, even given everything else I've seen from these people. Specifically, John says that Dan, quote, admitted to leaving the subject premises. Does that last video sound like someone who has admitted to leaving the lot? Dan has done nothing if not be consistent that he absolutely did not leave that lot. In fact, on the night of the tow, he had the foresight to record his transaction with them. Does this sound like a man who admitted to leaving the lot?
Hello. Yes, I called about the Honda Civic. First of all, I'd like to apologize for using any foul language on the phone. You can understand that I was upset.
I do understand that.
This is all a misunderstanding, so I'm happy just to clear it up. You'll see the picture, you'll see that it was not me, and then we can just clear all this up. But I do apologize for language, it was uncalled for, but I was very upset that day.
You didn't walk away from the parking lot?
No, ma'am. And the employer, the young man that was in there, can vouch that I walked right in. I said, hello, you know, just want to wash my hands because I didn't want to be rude and say what I was really doing. I was in there for like 4 or 5 minutes tops. Went in there, ordered my food. I got a receipt, and I walked away.
So you didn't walk across the street?
No, ma'am. I did not.
Unfortunately.
Ma'am, please don't give me an unfortunately because...
Unfortunately.
Yes.
If you have an issue, you have to take that up with the manager. But right now, the only way I can release the vehicle is to have it paid for.
I never left the parking lot. I got an employee that said I was there. I got a receipt.
I have 2 employees who watched you walk away.
Could I talk to employees? Because, could I see the pictures, please?
Yeah. Right there.
Oh, ma'am, come on.
I mean
here-
they are watching you walk
Okay.
away
So the pictures
from
showed.
your vehicle.
So the pictures show nothing. And then there's no, absolutely.
Walking across the street.
Where? Where am I?
Here.
Can you honestly say that's? You can say that's me.
I can honestly say that I had 2 employees watch you walk away.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to those employees. Perhaps they can just take a look at me and see. I mean, I'm wearing not really that much nondescript. I wasn't wearing like a pink foo-foo jacket or anything like that. But perhaps they can at least give me a chance. At least they might. Now, if they're going to be honest about it, you know, if they're going to be honest about it, I will let all this go. And I won't bring it up. I won't do anything. But if they're going to lie about it, then fine. I guess the only way I can do is pay the money and then bring it up in the management. But at least can you give me a chance for them to be honest about it and say, yes, they saw me walk across the street. Because I got an employee saying that I was across the street. I got a receipt that actually I bought the food. And I'm assuming that they keep records of when they tow the car, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so the amount of time that, you know, they towed the car and my receipt, let's compare it and see if they're, even if I had enough time.
Actually,
Okay.
What usually happens is people park there, run across the street to the bank, and come back.
Okay,
And that's usually what happens.
okay,
And it happens a lot.
okay.
So yes, you would have had time.
Didn't go to the bank, paid for it with a credit card. So no reason why I would go to the bank. And I don't bank there. And you know what? I'll bring up my bank right now, Navy Federal Credit Union. And you can look and see if there's any ATM deposits or receipts or pulls.
That's not my... I am not here to judge. Like
Okay.
I said, I just work here.
Okay?
My job is to take care of this. I was told that they saw you.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
Can you at least give them a chance? Just look at me. Now, is it possible they were mistaken?
Is it possible? Probably not, considering they were sitting in the parking lot watching you. They watched you park. They watched you get out of your car.
Can you ask them to describe me? Because those pictures don't say anything. Can you ask them how old, hair color, height, jacket, anything that would say, like, yes. If they come back and say, yeah, he was wearing a brown shirt, or he was a black man that was in his 50s, or something. Who is that person? Can you just ask, please, miss?
I'm not going to ask, and here's the reason why. They've already said, we already had this conversation. I didn't have the conversation, but I had 2 other employees in here who have had conversations with the driver when they came in with the vehicle.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask. They said they watched you. That is what I have to do.
But what evidence do you have? Those pictures don't show anything.
Okay, sir. I'm just doing my job.
I understand
you're upset. The only thing I can tell you is that on your receipt is a phone number at the top. You can call and speak to management tomorrow.
All I'm asking is just to call them up.
I'm not going to.
Why not?
I'm doing my job.
Okay, but they didn't do their job. They didn't do their job. They towed the wrong car. I've got an employee saying they saw me walk from my car into the shop.
And I've got a receipt. Who said,
and what time was it towed?
Let me see your receipt.
Okay. I had to get it reprinted out. The bottom number is when the transaction was made. Can you at least tell me when the car was towed? And then at least can we figure out, was there time for me to go across the street or the bank?
Yes, there was.
Okay. How? What time was the car towed?
Advanced towing. Your car was towed before it even.
What time was the car towed?
Walked in there. I'm sorry. What?
What time was the car towed?
6:22.
Okay. And I said, what I do?
Okay. Give me just a few minutes, ma'am. As soon as I have a driver back, I will have him move it. Okay.
Okay. So 6:22, my car was towed. Correct?
That is correct. It's 1:35 to pick up your vehicle.
I got an employee that said that I walked in. He saw me. I went to the bathroom. I used the facilities. I ordered my food. I paid for my food. And so you're saying that 22, and this is from 28.
And you paid for it at 6:46.
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
That top number is the time you paid, 6:46.
No. Original time, 6:28.
And
I had them. No, original time, because I paid for a credit card. I did not get a receipt. After I talked to you, I got them to print out another receipt.
Hey, when you get here, can you move a vehicle for me, please? All right, well, whoever hits first, I'll ask them. All right, thank you. All right,
so original
here's the last time. Either you're paying the $135 or you're not. If you have an issue, you need to take it up with management.
Ma'am.
There is nothing I can do.
Yes, there is. Because right there, original time, 6:28.
So, there you have it. Lie after lie after lie to pretty much anyone and everyone. I am imploring Arlington residents, please speak up about your own experiences with advanced towing. Businesses, please consider the type of company that you want to deal with when you're managing your towing problem. County Board, please remove John O'Neill from the Trespass Towing Advisory Board. And to the Attorney General's office, open an investigation into this company. If this video isn't evidence of fraud or at very least deceit, I don't know what is. Thanks for watching.